Hello, readers. Welcome to 20 Questions with Your Favorite Author, where we ask authors important questions like, why would you agree to be on this podcast? I'm Kelly Lynn Colby, Editorial Director at Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing. Our guest this week is Dakota Krout, fantasy writer and owner of Mountaindale Press. Dakota has appeared in the New York Times for reaching the top 10 bestsellers for audiobooks and Audible, has been featured in Business Insider, and graced the cover of Indie Author magazine. He has sold over 2 million copies of his books and audiobooks. And if he's not your favorite now, he will be after. Yes! Welcome, Dakota. How are you this evening?
I am doing so well. Yeah, the music there, I wasn't sure if it was just me hearing like an echo or something. And then everyone else started dancing. I was like, oh, good. All right, we're good.
Okay, I am here. I'm not making this up in my head. There is music. Yeah, we laughed we went through so much music to find the right one. It's hilarious.
Perfect.
And now I hear
cool.
it in my sleep. Let's see. We have some very, very important questions, as you could tell from our intro here. First one, looks like your audiobooks have been really successful. Do you narrate them yourself?
Oh, no.
No?
No. Never. And I never will. No. I'm a big fan of, pay the professional and just get it done,
Yes. Yes, totally agree.
Yes. So basically, I actually get that question a lot, believe it or not. It's strange to get that question a lot because, essentially what happens is people, especially authors, think that doing everything themselves is the correct way to, go out there and be successful. But the reality is nothing sells your books like your next book. Right. So when you go out there and you publish your next book, not only does that bring much more attention to you as for having a new book out, but it brings people into your backlist and all this other stuff. So typically I am always recommending to people that they focus on the one thing that actually brings them, success, fame, fortune, whatever it is that they're seeking. And that is generating more content. Right. So getting out the next book and pushing it. Yeah. So, and that's why in 5 years, I have 24 books out that are, all over 100,000 words, sit around 490 pages a pop on Amazon. So, yep.
It's pretty impressive, let me tell you.
Thank you.
I had so much fun Googling you. I might have to call you Mr. Krout with all the accolades that were up there.
Well, I'm a legal lord, so you can call me Lord Krout.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'd have to call you Lord Dakota, though, right? It's first names, right? So,
however you want to do.
So, Lord Dakota, how did you manage so much press?
So much press? Like, yes. It was, it's funny because it doesn't seem like a lot until it's all together, Mm-hmm. Like, typically it's just like someone reaches out and they're like, hey, man, we want to chat. I'm like, cool. And then I look and it's like, oh, that's Forbes. That's cool. Glad I'm so cordial to everyone, right?
You never know who you're talking to.
Right? It's true, and just another reason to be a good person, right? So you don't mess up really good opportunities like this, you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Except in this case, I was the one with the opportunity. So thank you very much for agreeing to be on.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
Well, you were the first person who's included their wife in their profile pic, and I love it. Mm-hmm. So it looks like a true partnership.
Oh, absolutely.
Very much so. How much has that added to your success?
Oh, way more than it. Oh my gosh. So I have two mindsets, right? So mm-hmm. in a book called The E-Myth, The Entrepreneurial Myth, mm-hmm. they say that there's 3 types of mindset. There's the technician. Okay. The technician is someone who can see the job and do the job, right? Mm-hmm. There's the manager who can manage all of the day-to-day of things that go on between technicians, and the final one, which is the entrepreneur, right? And so the entrepreneur has this great big picture things going on, right? So I am 50% entrepreneur, 50% technician. I have no manager in me, right? Just 0%, and maybe even a -% and given to something else, because the small details of like day-to-day things really super elude me. And so with my lovely wife, who she is the CEO of my company, Mountaindale Press, which yeah, all of this here. And she manages all the day-to-day, keeping contacts, building those relationships between authors, narrators, all these other people. And I go out there and get to do the fun thing, which is talking to really cool people. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I
I
love
like
that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like the manager aspect of it all.
Well, if you would like hard numbers, I can tell you that when she came on, I saw a 300% increase in revenue.
Holy moly.
So the way
We're
that
like,
she, yeah.
why are you
Sorry,
working
guys.
any other job? We'll make more money if you just work for us.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah. So she actually has her PhD in pharmacology and therapeutics. And so she was a research molecular biologist at her last position. And
I liked her.
yeah, oh, she's great. Much smarter than I am. But I can words really good with my hands. So I got that going for me. And so I said, hey, when you started doing some of this stuff, we saw really way better results and we're making great money. Do you want to do this? She looks at me and she goes, can you afford me? And I was like, well, let's find out. So, yep, here we are. And it's working out very well.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Well, whose idea was it to publish that first book?
That was all me. Oh, yes. So I will say my wife is very manager mindset and very technician mindset, but not so much with the entrepreneurial, right? So she was actually working on her, I'm trying to remember, it's not a thesis, it's the dissertation. Yes, her doctoral dissertation.
PhD, yep.
Yep. And so she was doing that. She did not care what I was doing. Right. I was like, hey, hon, I'm, since you're so busy and, I don't watch TV or all these other things. I'm writing a book. She's like, great. That's cool. Right now,
it's great. I love you. I'm going to go back to my book. Yeah,
exactly. Like she was working hard. And so one day, I finished and I was like, hey, love, I'm going to publish this book. Do you want to see? And she goes, what? I said, yeah, I have this little publish button here on Amazon. I'm just going to smack that. And she goes, wait, what are you doing? And she said, you have a book? I said, you know about the book? She said, yeah, but I thought that was just for fun. Well, kind of, yeah, but it's here now and I can publish it. Clicking the button. And so she tried to convince me to hold off for all sorts of very good reasons. But I said, and this is something that is, to me, like really stood out in my life, is I was like, hey, you know what? I have the faith in this right now. So it's either I never publish this or I publish it now. It's either never or now. And so I said, I just hit the publish button and it locked for 72 hours. And she went, okay, I guess. And we both walked away thinking nothing would ever come of it. Yep. So I'm so glad to have been wrong.
And nothing has. Oh, wait. Short interview. Next time. No.
Right. Next time we'll bring on a real author.
Oh no, you're as real as they come. How long did it take you to write your first book?
About 3 months.
Oh, that's nice. You were inspired. You were ready.
Oh yeah. So that one was very easy for some reason. The first book was probably the easiest one I've ever written. Right. And I just had fun with it. It was exactly what I wanted to write at the time. And then it just flowed out like nothing, like crazy. And then I did the next 2 books in that series a month each, and try to get it out as rapidly as possible. But it was a lot harder because for some reason having expectations from the readers instead of just putting
nothing
out,
to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Instead of having nothing to lose. That's a really good way of putting it. It was harder, but I loved it. And then I was like, I could do this like forever. And I'd be very happy to continue. So, yep.
It's fabulous. That's fabulous. 3 months. So rumor has it you write live on Discord.
I do.
Yeah. Why have you chosen to expose yourself like that?
So I will make a quick caveat to that. So people have to opt in. And if they opt in and they mess it up, then they get booted out. Okay.
That sounds great.
Because we've had a couple instances where someone's like, hey, here's the ending of his next book. And it's like, oh my God, why would you do that? So
why would you do that? Just stop.
Right, exactly. But no, so it's really cool. So the biggest thing for me is that relational marketing. So being able to go out there and really give people that a feeling of ownership, right? They are there on scene as this is being created. They get access right away. They can see me doing it. They can tell me if I've messed something up or if it's just really off base. And I don't allow people to talk while I'm working because that would really destroy that. But what I do at the end of each session is I'll go in, and usually people are writing notes to me throughout, like, hey, you're writing this right now, and here's what I see, or I think it would be better like this, stuff like that. Cool. Yeah, so it's really cool. They can. So
you're not getting hounded while you're writing.
No. I see stuff pop up, but I just ignore it. Yeah. I'm very focused when I work.
I'm sensing no ADHD then. Yeah, see, that wouldn't work for me.
No. And it's all learned behaviors, right? Like when I was first doing it, it was definitely little red light pops on. What is, like, who's pinging me? What's happening? But
you're like, oh wait, I asked them to.
Well, no, the worst is actually when I forget to stop screen sharing, because people are like, hey man, it's been like 25 minutes and you haven't written anything. Are you gonna hit your word goal for the day? What's going on? And so that's pretty fun too, because people keep me accountable.
Yes, accountable. I could probably use some of that. I don't think I'm brave enough for that live writing though, man. That's incredible. So you told us that your first book was really easy to write. Which of your books challenged you the most?
Ooh, that's a good one. Probably the second book ever written. So that would be Dungeon Madness. Because really, I mean, it was a dive into trying to do things the correct way, right? And excuse me, and I was also trying to do it in a month. Like I was like, hey, this one was so successful out of nowhere. What happens if we're actually like, at that point I realized this has a genre, so then I could do research on the genre, find out what those expectations were, and see how absolutely badly I was missing the mark, right?
Find those tropes.
Right, but what actually happened is that I wouldn't say I was the very first to write in this subgenre, but I'm definitely one of the pioneers of the subgenre.
In which way? Is this lit RPG?
So this particular one was Dungeon Core, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
So, and lit RPG, I moved into lit RPG, right? So Divine Dungeon was right on the edges, right on the fringe, way closer to like D&D sort of things going on. Just kind of more implied what was going on, and kind of a loose structure, where lit RPG is much more actual detail. Numbers. Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, my second series was me applying all of that research into the main genre, and I think it worked pretty well. So, yeah.
I think it did. I think you helped define the tropes, so that's pretty impressive.
It's kind of cool to be on the ground floor of stuff.
It really is. That's so cool. Truly, like you said, entrepreneurial. Like you had that unique idea.
Sure.
I love
Thanks, Shelly. Wow, you're great.
Let's see. If someone is meeting you for the first time on this podcast, where do you recommend they start?
I have a wonderful book titled Something. Okay. So
I have questions about that one. It's so awesome. Sorry, go ahead.
Right, I'm gonna grab it real quick. Let's see if I have a copy here. I'm sure
I just love it.
Okay. Yeah.
The whole thing makes me happy. Oh, the cover just popped up too.
Okay, perfect. So the title is literally Something. So if you want something to read, I have something for you. Okay.
I love it. Right. I love
it. I'm actually just finishing the copy edits on Anything. So pretty soon you'll be able to read anything by Dakota Krout.
I love it. Yeah, awesome. It's one of those, every now and again, I'm starting to read a book by somebody I'm interviewing and I can't stop. And I started a few of yours and they were good, but I could stop them and keep writing my questions like a good professional. I started Something and I couldn't stop. I was like,
Perfect.
I have stuff to do. This is bad.
No, it's awesome. And that makes me really happy to hear because no, that was the first time. So I had this, so I do just an insane amount of research on everything that I'm doing. Right. And something was a dive into abnormal psychology. Right. And seeing how that applied to like fantasy and kind of what would happen in kind of realistic situations of like what would really happen to real people in really fantastical situations. And the weird thing is that that's right there in abnormal psych. Like you can just find it.
Yes. Oh, I love it.
It was cool because I had a behavioralist who read that book and brought me on to discuss abnormal psychology on his podcast, which is really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's also the most well written in my mind.
Really good.
Thank you. And that's just because kind of when you start writing a series, you can't just shift the framework of how it is. You know what I mean? So if something is written in a certain way or is kind of meant for a specific audience at the time, you can't shift away from that abruptly. Like you can kind of change over time. But I had so much more writing knowledge on my 6th series than I did on my first 1 or 2, and I was able to apply all of that. So it was really cool. Yeah.
Isn't that nice when you figure, yes, I've been writing for years, but I know how to write now finally.
Well, it's I just defined my style. I defined what I really enjoy and what I like to do, and coupled with the research on what other people like to read, and boom, there it is. There's something for you.
Yeah, I have to say, like when I started, I was expecting something ridiculous because it's Murderhobo, right?
Right.
And you get a lot of those, ones that are just funny to be funny, right? Or, just sarcastic. So I start this book and it's a solid fantasy novel. So I'm just wondering, where did you come up with the full Murderhobo name?
Oh, so a Murderhobo has been around forever, right?
I've never heard of it.
No, like anyone with any gaming experience can, like especially D&D, anything like that. Like like Kevin over here, right?
Yeah, Kevin Petway might know it.
Yeah, he's nodding right along because he's like, that's a standard gaming term. It's just
hey, I game. Apparently not enough.
So a murder hobo is someone who doesn't care about the dialogue option, right? They don't care about all the other things that are going on. They just want to kill. Right. Or like their path forward is, all right, I see monsters. Well, they could be friendly. I don't care. Like they are made of both loot and EXP. Right. They're going down.
Gotcha. So it's more like a PvP players, like kind of thing.
Pretty much more like PvE. Like they are versus everything.
Everyone. Yeah.
Everything. Right. So doesn't matter if it's a wall. How dare that wall be there? Right.
It's in my way. I need to go that way.
Right. How far into something have you read, if you don't mind me asking?
Through the first chapter.
Oh, the first chapter.
Prologue and the first chapter. I had to stop because I had to interview you.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to tell me what you think of what he does with trees and rocks. So
I'm not going to start reading it as soon as I get off the interview. Honest.
Definitely not. Yeah.
No, it's not going to happen.
Well, and we're connected on Facebook, so you can keep me like updated live as you're going.
Ooh. I don't know. I'm an editor too. You might not want me to do that.
It's okay. No, you know what? I intentionally do not make books as perfect as they can be so that people can come to me and be like, hey, I found an error. And I can be like, hey, you are so amazing for reaching out and caring about my books and helping me make them better. I will make that change because of you. Thank you. Right. And that's what I do. I'm serious. I absolutely do that. And
that's so funny. It's true though. There's a lot of readers like it. They're like, this comma's wrong. You're like, I will fix it. And they're like, oh, thanks, man.
or the comma's right and they're wrong, right? I wouldn't tell them that.
Well, yeah, that happens too. But my editing mostly is about characters and world. So
sure. Gotcha.
Yeah, no. I'm not that picky. I pay like you said, you pay a narrator, you pay a professional to do that. I pay a professional to fix the commas and the ridiculous stuff that I don't care about. Because character and world is everything.
Yes.
Let's see. We were on a panel together at DragonCon, and we were the indie representatives, contrasted with some traditionally published folks, right?
Right.
And I had a ton of fun, as most of our answers were opposite advice to the traditional route.
It's so opposite.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was so much fun. But I found it interesting that, as to do what we do, we are very much aware of the traditional world and their rules and what you have to do in their world, but they seem to be clueless about ours.
Yep.
So I thought that was kind of interesting that they didn't know both worlds the way, you and I did.
Right.
So
Well,
I'm
because
wondering,
if they did, they'd probably be indie.
that's also true. You're probably right. They're like, why am I doing this?
Exactly.
Like I couldn't imagine somebody telling me I can't finish my series. I can't even fathom that thing.
Right.
Like,
No, absolutely. And kind of the whole thing, they're like, hey, this is paying your dues. And I'm over here like, hey man, I'm sorry you let yourself be hurt like that. I'm not about to, like not a chance.
I love that. I'm sorry you let yourself get hurt like that. I'm going to write that one down. It's just nice enough and just sarcastic enough so they understand.
Well, it's also very serious, like I have a really good friend. You might know him. His name is Aaron, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to say.
I'm actually going to interview him too.
Okay. Oh, okay. I wasn't going to give away his name, but he worked for 12 years at this as his life goal, doing all this stuff and paying his dues and all this other stuff, and paying his dues, and he and I have conversations on this stuff all the time. But he's found amazing success when he switched away from chasing like
that traditional
the proper way of doing things, and I would call him an amazing author success story, and even if you wouldn't believe it,
it's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive, but it was interesting. But I had fun, so just so you know, that was fun. And then you also, as we talked about earlier, own Mountaindale Press, as it is written on everything. So clever. Maybe I should just put mine behind here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
These words, they just appear out of
nowhere. just drinking out of this cup.
It's on everything, man. All we have are stickers. Zafo, we need to step up our merchandising game. So what sparked the crazy notion to open a publishing house and publish other authors' work? Like, what was the threshold you stepped over to do that?
So I have like the business answer and I have the personal answer. Which would you like? I can do both. You can. Okay, I can do both. Which one do you want me to start with?
Start with business because personal is more interesting, I think.
Sure. So the business answer to it is I saw what I was doing and I saw it was very successful. And I had really spent a lot of time pushing into advertising, pushing into social media, finding ways to get my books in front of people, right? And I spent a lot of time doing that when I didn't need to, because at the start of our genre, right away, when there's 10 authors total, just kind of bouncing stuff off each other and having fun with it, we could put out a book and be in the top 100 on Amazon immediately. No questions asked, right?
Your fans were like, yes, write another one.
Right. And they would just ping pong between the 10 of us, or however many there were. And that's how it happened. Like we just stayed in the top 100 as a collective genre for like a year. And during that time I was like doing research, because I was like, hey, at some point it's not going to be this way, right? And so by the end of that year, I was still doing really well when I put out a book, with my advertising, with social media, all this other stuff, and other people were starting to lag behind. And just a little bit, but enough to be noticeable. And I said to myself, hey, and to my wife, hey, we've spent $30,000 in 6 months testing all of this different stuff. How do we use it and make sure it is usable going forward? And the answer is you use it, right? Like, it's a constantly moving target. You always have to keep up with stuff. And I don't write fast enough, consistently enough to make that happen, right? And so it was, hey, we've put in a lot of money and we know how to do this. And so we took on 3 people and said, hey, give us your books, let us run it through our process, try all this stuff that we're going to do, and see if it's just me or if this model works for other people. And by the end of the year, then we had 3 authors taking home 6 figures. so that one worked out pretty well.
Oh yeah, I'm sure no one
And
was complaining.
no, not at all. And so it was, super successful model. And so we started slowly, very, very slowly ramping that up. And I'm very happy to say that over half of our authors are six-figure earning authors, and most of those people are now also moving toward full-time authorship. We only have one or two or three total authors working with us that are not full-time authors, and they are veterinarians and doctors and lawyers, right? So it's like,
Replace their pay is going to take a little longer, yeah.
Right, and benefits and all this other stuff. So they're dentists, so stuff like that, where they're making very good money already, and I'm still working with them to try and get them full time.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Goals, Kevin Petway, goals. We need to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get there. That's awesome. So that's the business. What was the personal?
The personal was a lot more simple than that. The personal was that I, for the vast majority of my life, have been incredibly poor, like very, very poor. Like joining the army at 17 so that I could make sure I had food. Poor, right? And so the fact of the matter is, I have had a lot of interesting things that I've done in life, and I've gotten to a point in life that I never expected. But the fact also is that I did not get there by myself. And what I wanted more than anything else was to be able to give other people that same helping hand that I got, right? Like the advice, awesome. the options, like things that weren't an intent to get screwed over, and just giving people for instance, my ebook contracts are 5 years, right? So for Mondale Press, because I believe if people really want to work with me, they're going to continue working with me. Like if I'm doing good by them, they like what I'm doing, great. And B, that gives them an option to take that to higher success if they can find another route to it, right? So my intent has never been to grab IP or to hold people to really stringent things. It's all about getting them to success wherever that might be. So that was the personal reason. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Yes, 100% agree. I don't ask for any rights I'm not using. Mm-hmm. I don't know why so many. Again, traditional. I don't know why they do that. I want all of the things, including your firstborn child who you name after your main character. No, go away. But I'm not going to do anything with them, though. They're going to sit in a closet. But I want them. I want all of them.
They don't get food or light or water. But
no, they'll be fine. They'll just be forced to learn how to read so they can read your books and leave reviews. Why didn't I think of that? Darn it. I have 2 kids. I could have made that happen. So what's the most interesting or crazy thing that you've learned through your writing and publishing adventure?
I would say, so an interesting thing is that at all levels of success, if you continue to write, your day looks about the same. So it's really funny because people that I know that are making very little money with this author career, but enough to sustain themselves, lock themselves into a room for 6 to 10 hours a day, and they're writing their book most of the day, and they're done, and they have dinner and go to bed and get up early and do it all again the next day. And I do that too. So
it's not that different one from the other.
It's really not. No, I have the difference here is my office lights up in different colors. And I have a window, the big differences for me are hey, now I have 2 screens instead of 1, it's not super major differences. And it's so it's really funny to me to go to conferences and talk to other authors, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, what's the secret? What do you do? And I'm like, I'm doing exactly what you're doing, man. I just have support staff who are selling the book too. That's the big difference there. Yep. So going out there. Yeah. Anyway, in
method's
terms
not
of,
that different. Yeah, that's a cool thing.
it's really not. It's really not. Like most of my time is devoted to writing because that's where I'm successful, is being an author. And being a publisher is cool, but like that's not my main focus because I have a whole company, right? Who are
Right.
doing all of the other stuff that goes into making that happen. Yeah. And so the other cool thing is that conferences, there's good information at them, but there's always two conferences that happen at every conference. There is the panels and like, lectures and things like that. And then there's meeting in the hallways. Right?
Which is the best part.
That's the best part. It's way better.
Way better.
Like, I mean, you get good information, like general information in panels, all this other stuff. You get to see cool people, like get a look at what they're doing. But then you can just go and hang out with them in the hallway, like my first year at Superstars, I just walked up to Jim Butcher and I'm like, "Hey man, you have lunch plans? Let's go. I'm buying." And he was like, "Cool. What are we going to talk about?" And I said, D&D. And then
he's like, "I'm definitely in."
Yeah, right. So we walked away, and then all of a sudden it was like 30 people, and I was like, "Wait a second!
You're like, I'm not paying for all of you."
No, and then I didn't even get to sit by him. So I was like, "What the heck?"
I'm sure he was just as disappointed.
Oh, I'm sure. No, he was a lovely dude, and it was like, it's just that sort of thing. It was just really cool. Like, that's just one of those great things. Like everyone is basically the same person at a conference. Like, hey, I'm an author, and I'm an author. Like I sit in my room and write books for most of the day, and so it's just neat to be able to bounce between like, people at Jim Butcher's level and like brand new authors, and the only thing that's different between them is like their confidence in their ability. Like they're all doing the same thing. So yeah,
that's pretty cool. I'm gonna keep that in mind. So when you're sitting down and you're doubting, just remember that's it. Jim Butcher's doing the same darn thing right now, sitting in his dark room. Though he might have a window too. I don't know.
Getting the same kind of weird questions from people on the internet. Like, where's this? When is this? What is happening?
When's this next book coming out? He gets that one all the time, poor guy.
Oh, I'm sure.
So my son is all caught up and is kind of angry with him. And I don't know, because I'm not caught up yet. So I don't even know what he's angry about. I'll figure it out soon enough, I guess.
I know.
Yep. But that just means, you know what that means, though? I like that he's angry. Because my son doesn't show a whole lot of emotion. And the fact that he's angry means that Jim Butcher made him feel. And that makes me very happy. That's power.
Would you just read the book already, damn it?
I'm getting there. Okay, so maybe Seifo's a little mad too. Okay, I have a lot to read. I have to read Dakota's now. I can't stop. So
just read something. You'll be fine.
Just read. I'm always
really pretty soon. Just read anything.
Just keep reading. Just keep going. So if you could turn one of your series,
I'm getting good.
Right? You could. I know. If you could turn one of your series into a movie franchise, which one would it be?
Full Murderhobo, no question.
Yep. Oh, see.
Yep. So because and that's actually what that's the one I'm going to be pushing for when I do start trying for options and things like that. It's not like a massive all-encompassing need, like I have what I'm successful in. I really like what I do. If it also got turned into movies, that'd be cool. But it's not something I'm going to go and vigor myself trying to figure out how to make that happen, or put myself into getting a terrible deal or anything. Like, it's just not so important to me that it must happen.
Not desperate. Hey, there's indie movie people too. I've been thinking about getting a hold of them.
Oh, there you go. And the cool thing about this one is that it's going to be a nice, clean trilogy. So it's something.
But you had 4 things. You're just going to do a trilogy? I thought you would do like one with each.
Nope. So because we have Zed as the narrator, right? So the bard is the narrator. So his story is the meta story around the story, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right, you'll see more of that as you complete in there.
As I keep going.
Right. But so we have a kind of a focus on the Murderhobo, on the Druid, and then on the Archmage. And but anyway, so the so it's a nice trilogy. So it's gonna be something, anything, and everything, right? So anything is just about to come out, and everything will be out soon after that, right? So yeah. So that would also translate. I built these specifically to move to film easily, right?
Clever.
Yeah, so it should easily translate into great scenes, into great like cinematography, into like great action and like posing and stuff like that, while also really having the kind of intellectual psychology, whatever behind it, without it being such an overpowering mess, right? Because there's only so much you can get with the talkie talk before the murder hobo just starts hitting things, right? So it forces the conflict along a little bit, which is kind of his purpose in the books. So.
Oh yeah, Florida Kevin says Zed is his favorite character. He really enjoys the book.
Zed should absolutely be everyone's favorite character. I'm just saying, like, because Zed is like you just want to hug the guy. Like he's like, oh yeah, so you guys all went off and got like deity level super cool powers, and I'm just like an 18-year-old kid who can strum a ukulele really well. Shoot.
That's all I got, man. It's all I got. That's awesome.
So, yeah, it's fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's really good.
So what? Oh, so yeah, we're at the lightning round now. Lightning round. Yeah, you've done. I have so many more questions because it was so fun. But your time is valuable, as we've just discussed. You have 6 to 10 hours tomorrow to write, so I'm sure you want some time. So lightning round. These are fun questions. They're very important ones. First, what is your favorite holiday dish?
Cranberry sauce.
Really? Like homemade, I'm assuming, or?
Oh no, directly out of a can. It must be can shaped when I'm eating it because like I don't know why, but that is like I don't know, like a throwback to my childhood or something. But like all this other just magnificent food, and then just like a can shaped cranberry sauce, and I just like tuck into that, man. I can't stop. It's crazy.
I do like to spread it on sandwiches the next day. I have to.
Ooh, there you go. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kind of do. What is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Banana.
Ooh, good choice. Yummy. Let's see. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Good choice. What's the first thing you do when you get up in the morning?
Open my eyes.
I have to say, I love interviewing writers. You all have such creative answers. All right, good choice. What is your least favorite chore around the house?
Ooh, see, this is I'm slow on this one because I really like to cook. I would say probably putting away laundry.
Sounds fair. Those are our two biggest answers: is laundry, and usually it is folding and putting away laundry, and dishes. Those are our two big answers. So good. Mm-hmm. I hate to tell you, in one way, you're normal, Dakota.
I'm okay with this.
You okay? Okay, good.
Yeah.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
That's a good question. My non-traveled there mind says Kyoto, Japan. But I haven't ever actually traveled there. I just really like the look of everything in that area. So maybe I would just visit there. If it were living, I would. I don't know. I like the United States, man. So I'm just stick with somewhere in this country. I've lived all over the country, and I like most of it for different reasons. So
I was gonna say that doesn't really narrow it down for the record.
I like it so much that I'm right in the center of it. Right, I'm in Kansas City, and so I like being right smack dab in the middle of it, so I can go visit all of it with like an equal amount of travel. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a fair bet. Except for those winters.
No, it's no snow here. No, we're good.
What?
Oh yeah.
Did you hear it snowed in Egypt today?
It's not Kansas City.
Yeah, it's crazy. They were like, it's the first time in like 20 years of recorded history that it snowed. Sorry, off topic. I do that. So thank you. You were amazing. Where can fans find you and your work?
Okay, so if you are looking for my books, so like signed copies, stuff like that, mountaindalepress.com, really easy one. If you're looking for ebooks or audiobooks, you can go to mountaindalepress.com and it'll redirect you to Audible or Amazon as needed. If you're looking for stuff as it's being written, you can either come to my Discord, which is the server name is Eternium. And I think I sent you a link that you can give to people if they want
share.
it. Mm-hmm. Right. Or you can always come to Patreon to see like what has been written. And I have several books up there that are not yet out publicly. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and that's patreon.com/Dakota Krout.
Excellent. And for all of you listening, I'll make sure to put those in the show notes. So you'll be able to pick that stuff up. Excellent. So now that Dakota is your new favorite writer, please make sure to review his work and also review us wherever it is you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on Twitch or subscribe on YouTube. They decided to use different words, so I try to get it right every time. And we do want to thank you for our paid subscribers on Twitch. That's Dave, DH Dunn, and Helen Savor. Thank you so much for supporting us and keeping these lights on. And we will see you next week with John R. Osborne. Thank you.